What's up, everybody? Pridgy34 checking back in for another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today we're going to discuss the big one. The big thing that needs to be discussed, and the one thing that Contest has never been able to reveal to everybody. But what is the best class? Which of these is the best kind of class of kind of authenticity? So this video is going to be kind of hard for me to actually do, simply because we don't do any editing just yet on any of the videos, but I really want to talk about which one I reckon is the best kind of class to have in Contest of Champions, which one has the best kind of characters in there, and which one is pretty much the weakest link kind of thing. So today we're going to start off by looking at the different champs that are in each kind of class. Now, it's wiser for me to filter it out between four stars and 3 stars, because I do have a lot more 4-star and 3-star champs in specific classes than I do 5 stars, because I only have 20 technically 19 5 stars. So we're going to take 5 stars out of it, and we're going to look at just 3s and 4s. Now we're going to filter it down per class, and we're going to talk about whether or not I believe this class is a great class, this class needs improving kind of thing. So we're just going to have a quick chat about it, really. Any kind of comments that you disagree with could go in the comment section below, but literally today I just want to give you my 10 cents on everything, really. So we're going to look at science first. Now, science champs, I really like science champs. I hate that I do. I mean, pretty much just looking at it there, you've got a lot of Spidey champs, haven't you, really? You've got Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, you've got Spider-Man himself. I mean, if I had 4-star, do I have a 4-star symbiote? I don't have a 4-star symbiote. Where's my 3-star symbiote? I definitely would have had one of him, whether or not he's a champ in the game. Oh no, symbiote is cosmic, my bad. But yeah, literally you're looking at I really like science champs. I like them, but then again they're shocking. I mean, recently towards the game they've added certain champs that have got pretty good. I mean, you've got Luke Cage and his indestructible tough it all out. Like, it's kind of cool because it ignores all damage for 3 seconds. That's 3 seconds going without any damage, man. That could be so useful. Like, if you've got a pretty high Luke Cage, I've got a 5-star Luke Cage, and if he's duped, it's just epic. And then they've added Void in there. Void is just deadly. Like, Void is... He's a good character to have. I mean, Fear of the Void and the reversal and stuff, and he's so useful in war and shit. So I really like Void, and then you've got Gulk and Mcoc and stuff. So yeah, but if we're looking at the OG side of it all, I mean, they had to buff Red Hulk. I've always been a fan of Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket's a really cool champ to have. I mean, he's currently in the arenas at the minute, but Yellow Jacket with his power sting is really good. I mean, Quake, people have started just erupting about Quake recently because of how good she is and kind of thing. And then you've got Electro with his hidden abilities and stuff. It does seem like there are a lot of hidden styles to everything. I always thought the Joe Fixit's kind of what was it, Gambler's Fate, is it? Yeah, Gambler's Fate was kind of cool, but it didn't turn out to be as cool as what it sounded, really. Not to mention Mcoc with just the headache he caused me, man, in Master and Uncollected a few months back. And then we can't take away from the OG champs. I mean, so you've got the Captain America World War II with his level 2, and that bleed is just ferocious. I mean, if you look at the bleed on this guy, it's just absolutely insane. 3,250.8 direct damage over 4 seconds. That's a lot of damage, guys. Like, That is a lot of damage. And I mean, it does cause a lot of damage when it inflicts as well. So he's not exactly the heaviest of hitters, but that block proficiency is good and stuff. And then you've also got Abomination with that poison. And then you've got the original Spider-Man. Spider-Man is just... Psh, man, I'd love it if I duped my 4-star Spider-Man. I would definitely not be upset if I got him in a crystal. I can't talk highly enough about some of the champs here, but my favourite of all has to be this guy here. Now, this guy was my first 4-star to get to dupe level 99, and I absolutely fucking love him, guys. He's so badass. Like, the Hulk Rage isn't a thing, but his damage output is just epic. His HP is actually really good, and I mean, he's caused so much epicness for me. I mean, he is a content killer. He just munches content up for me. He was Act 4 Destroyer. Maestro didn't stand a chance against my Hulk, and I used to say actively to a lot of people, yeah, nothing could beat my Hulk. Poison immune, stun, he's just sick. So to be fair, science, really good class. But at the end of this video, we're gonna categorize what I think is gonna be the best kind of class. So we'll move on to skill next. Now, skill needs no introduction, really, does it? I mean, look at that straight up there. It's just, that's just phenomenal badassery right there. Like, that's so sick. So skill. So we'll talk about some of the weak links in skill. I mean, the weak links being Netflix Daredevil and I mean, I'd say Falcon. Karnak isn't amazing, but a lot of people do like to use Karnak. Winter Soldier, I mean, he's the bitch of Realm of Legends, really. And they've even tried to buff him. I mean, Punisher isn't great either. And Daredevil pretty much is only useful against the uncollected collector. Not uncollected, collected. The collector, sorry. But we're going to talk about skill. Now, skill is a great class, and it always has been since the start of the game. I mean, Black Panther has had some dirty bleeds, and I will tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before and I will say it again. If I was to ever get a 5-star version of Hawkeye, I would never be upset. I'd never be upset of a 5-star of this guy. This guy is so underrated, it's for real. And he's just, he is a content destroyer. I mean, the bleed and the hemorrhage is just sick. Yeah, definitely wouldn't be disappointed if I got a 5-star Hawkeye. So what else have we got? We've got Black Widow. Black Widow is OG in the game as well. She was at the start, and Black Widow's duped ability being so epic. Subtlety, it just means that it reduces the chance of triggering their abilities at 65%, but I believe my 4-star is at 99%, and just to prove to everybody, 69.9% of them triggering their abilities. So if you're ever up against Wolvie, is all of a sudden his regen ain't triggering. What's going on? Like, Black Widow's what's going on. Do you know what I mean? You've got Elektra. She was part of the game at the start, and or I think she was one of the recent people they brought in. She's not amazing. She's not brilliant, but she's not bad. Like, Electra's Final Strike now triggers anytime the opponent is below 25% health. Additionally, while the opponent is within Final Strike range, Electra gains 415 increased critical damage. So she's gonna be a killer for those that are dying, pretty much. And I mean, that's not amazing. So for the other champs that they brought in, I mean, you've got Crossbones here. Crossbones is pretty much MVP if you're going to take on Realm of Legends and the Safeguard. Crossbones turns most debuffs stuff into Fury attacks, and as does Mr. Kingpin over here. And then if we're looking, also you've got Agent Venom. with his tenacity, will literally just obliterate anything that he's got on him. I mean, what are the stats on this guy? I mean, this is 11 duped ability of 11 at the beginning of the fight. Where's his tenacity at? So it looks like his tenacity is actually just part of him, which is kind of cool. So his passive grants him 70% chance to shrug off any debuff. Now let's have a look at my 4-star, because my 4-star is quite highly duped. And yeah, it's still 70% chance to shrug off any debuff. I mean, that's just killer. That's really sick. And I mean, Agent Venom's pretty good for defense and stuff. So we're going to talk about some more champs for skill, and the next one that I do want to talk about is Mr. Ragnarok himself, Thor. Thor Ragnarok is sick. I've recently duped my Thor, and then after that I haven't been able to stop duping him. Wow, sorry, I recently duped my Thor, but I have pulled him a few times as a 3-star. Thor's duped ability and his level 3 is sick. The shock, the stun, really good. I really rate it. But then we're going to talk about the... we won war. Go, guys. Well done. Very chuffed. It was a close war as well. It was a really close war. So anyway, we're going to talk about the one player at the minute who's voted the best player in the game, and that is Blade himself. Now, my Blade here isn't duped, and neither is my 5-star, but I do have duped 3-star. So... level 35, and his regen is a disgusting rate. I mean, I can't wait to dupe my 5-star, because then I'm just going to absolutely learn how to play with him from start to finish. Blade's so good, his health's really good, his damage is really good, and that level 2 is sick. You've seen the way that I took out and collected Ghost with him. It's just the best. And last but not least, we're going to talk about my actual favourite champ in the whole game, Gwenpool. Since I actually saw Seaton get her as a 5-star, and he started playing with that, I thought she was sick. I thought the way she looked is badass. I thought the way she fought was badass. I thought her abilities are sick. Her health is cool. Her damage output is cool. The bleed stack, the stun. Shit, like, I believe the stun is just random. 3% chance to stun per bleed active on the target, lasting for 0.75 seconds. 30% chance to inflict a bleed, dealing 451 direct damage. I mean, I don't think it differs that much with a 4-star. My 4-star is quite duped. Nope, wrong button. My 4-star is quite duped, so I don't think it differ that much with her. Yeah, it definitely does, dealing 847.23 damage, and not to mention her duped ability. Gwenpool's reading enough comics to know that the main character doesn't die, preventing her from losing more than 68.64% of her current health per hit from special attacks. The only reason I haven't got this girl up to 5 of 50 is because I've got a rank 4 Blade, and I was saving my catalyst for him. But yeah, definitely. Skill, sick. Absolute sick class. So we're going to speed it up a bit more. We've got Mutant here. Now, Mutant is a bit of a weak link, simply because obviously most mutants are all X-Men. Well, yeah, they're definitely all X-Men. So these are all, this is the X-Men class right here. I mean, you've got the champs at the start of the game. You've got Wolvie, Colossus, if I'm having a quick look, you've got Storm. Now, Storm was my very first 4-star, and I will never forget her, and I'll always love her, and I've never duped her either. But then you've got recent adds to the game. You've got like X-23, Cable, Gambit, Psylocke, both Cyclopses, both Magnetos. Deadpool was pretty much at the start of the game, and then you've got Rogue and Iceman. Iceman being in the God tier section. Still think that Wolvie should definitely be demigod God tier worthy. X-23's same. You get to their level 3 and just keep them there, and they're just badass. So I definitely think that these guys belong there. And obviously the champs that I've got, I haven't got them all, so I'm still missing Sabretooth, I'm still missing like other 4-stars that I haven't got and stuff. But yeah, Mutant, pretty good class. I'm quite a fan of the X-Men, so I just want them to bring out Jubilee. Really can't wait for Jubilee. So next up is Cosmic. Now Cosmic is a brilliant class, absolutely phenomenal class. I genuinely believe it's a great class. So you've got some of the OG champs is Gamora and Thor. Captain Marvel, I believe, was in the game at the start. If not, she was added recent, and as was Drax and stuff. Then you've got Groot. Groot was added to the game. I remember that with Rocket Raccoon and stuff. And some of the newer champs, you've got Hyperion and Medusa and Phoenix and Hela. Now, the thing is with this, I mean, some of them I'm like, oh god, these guys are epic. I mean, I'm missing a lot of the 4-stars for this. So I mean, I don't have a 4-star Black Bolt. I don't have a 4-star Hela. I can't get a 4-star Ronin unless I do Realm of Legends. And I don't have a 4-star Phoenix. No, I don't have a 4-star Phoenix. But I may do without them. So it's not one of them things where it's like it's changing the game that I haven't got them. So these sort of champs, it's like Venom. Venom is an amazing champ. He isn't a great champ. I'm not really a fan of the way Venom looks, but to be fair, Venom is Venom. I've accepted him for what he is and who he is and stuff like that. So it's cool. Venom is Venom. That's just the way Venom is. So if we're looking at a few more champs from this class, I'm going to talk about Thor. Thor simply because of his nerf. That nerf was just destroying of Thor. I mean, he was god tier, best champ in the game without a doubt. Even standing next to Scarlet Witch, he was still best champ of the game. Being able to stack up as many armor breaks as you want, and then using that level 3, you could just do obliterating damage. But even still, I definitely think he should still be in some form of great tier, amazing tier, maybe a demi if you're pushing it. Next up is Gamora. Gamora, I can't wait to do my 4-star Gamora, and I wouldn't be disappointed if I pulled her out of a 4-star crystal, because I think she's genuinely sick. Her assassin bleed is just dangerous, and I love fighting with her. Kamala Khan is pretty much the one champ a lot of people say that they don't want to get. I don't know. I think I grinded for her in the arena simply because I didn't want to pull her in a crystal. I was just waiting for me to pull her in a crystal. So it's time I talked about some of the god tiers of this, and I'm definitely talking about Hyperion and Medusa. And the reason why is simply because Hyperion is he's my favorite champ in the Cosmic class. He's a badass. His power gain, his regen, his incinerate stacks, his level 2 with the armor break and the stun. He's just so badass, and I love him. He destroys 90% of my content, and he's still in my top 4. I do rave about him. You guys have heard me rave about him. Now, regards to Medusa, I want this pitch so bad. I can't wait to open a crystal and see her in it. Whether it be 4-star, be amazing if I got her as a 5-star. Her duped ability, she just shreds through some armors, like literally armor break. Just she's dangerous for it, absolutely dangerous for it. So next class we've got is Tech, and the Tech class I always found was a bit of a joker class, simply because they put Howard the Duck in. They've also put Rocket Raccoon in, and I'm Patriot, and Punisher 2099. It was like they're having a laugh, right? Come on now. But it grew on me. I fucking hate how much this class grew on me. So with all the classes, they have tried to add 1 or 2 god tiers in, and with Tech, they don't disappoint. So we'll talk about some of the OG champs again. So you've got Iron Man in here. You also have the original Vision, which I don't have as a 3 or 4 star because they did put him out as to buy. But then you've got like they brought out Hulkbuster and they brought out War Machine. You know, War Machine, my 3-star War Machine was the first ever champ I won in any arena. I went into a 3-star arena and I took out and I got War Machine, and then ladies and gentlemen, I opened him in a crystal the next day. Opened him in a crystal, duped him, and actually got the dupe levels of 8 on him. Ever since then, he's been going up, and I love my War Machine. War Machine's sick. I don't care what you say. He's not useful in the slightest, but I've always had a soft spot for him because he was my first champ till B1. Now, they also bought out Ultron. Now, one thing you can't forget about Ultron, and I don't have him as a 4-star, is his immunity is sick. Poison and bleed immune. I think he's bleed immune. But yeah, he is literally immune to all poisons, I believe. Fully immune to poison and bleed effects, yeah, so he is bleed immune. He is a badass, especially he's a bit of a headache to put on certain nodes in war, and I mean it's Ultron. Like, if you get him, you get him. You don't, you don't. Now, Yondu, I'm a big fan of. He is my favorite Marvel character of all time. Actually, in the game. Well, he's second to Thanos. Thanos has always been my favorite Marvel character. But Yondu, I was really happy with the way they brought him out in the game. He's very hard to get that parry off on. And I mean, the bleeds and stuff, they're really, really cool. So, gotta love the arrow there. So that's pretty sick. I'm a big fan of Civil Warrior. A lot of people don't like him, but I like Civil Warrior. I mean, his heavy attack causes heal block. His level 2 causes power drain, and also he's got quite a high ability reduction as well. So that's pretty cool. Not to mention Mr. Howard the Duck. Rocket Raccoon's level 2 is really, really powerful. Very good. Vision with his power drain, pretty cool. And then if we come on to the main guys, I mean, you've got Star-Lord, who needs no introduction. He was an OG champ, and I mean, for every hit on the combo meter, his attack is going up. He will stay in the god tiers for that. He will always stay in the god tiers for that. He's a content destroyer, and I love the fact that I grinded for him back in February, and it was definitely worth the grind, man. Me and Milk Loaf both did it. It was sick. Next up is Spider-Man, Stark Spidey. Everybody loves Stark Spidey. He's the god tier that everybody wants. Stack up his poise charges to 10. His crit damage is destructive. Not really quite sure on what his duped ability is. Let's have a quick look. So his duped ability is Hero's Mantra. Great power above 50%. Spider-Man's taunt lasts 2 seconds longer, and for each charge of the poise grants him an additional 27.98 critical rating. So that's dangerous, man. With great responsibility. Below 50%, Spider-Man's chance to evade an attack increases by a flat 0.7%, and each charge of the poise grants him 58% block proficiency. So it gains him block proficiency, and it also gains him more critical rate damage. Not to mention his synergies with the Holy Trinity. I mean, he synergizes with Ghost Rider and Blade, and they are the Holy Trinity of the game. 3 god tiers that are just destructive as fudge. So yeah, Tech, great class. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the Mystic class. Mystic. This class doesn't need any talking about. I mean, 90% of the champs in this are absolutely destructive. Fucking love having some of these champs. So we've got Gilly. We'll talk about the OG champs, which are Iron Fist, was one of the first champs to join the game from the Mystic class. You've got Scarlet Witch, of course, Scarlet Witch, and Unstoppable Colossus and stuff. Juggernaut was also there. So we'll talk about some of the champs that are in here. I mean, let's talk about Jugs. Juggernaut's really cool. His Unstoppable's pretty cool. He's got high health, and he's not easy to fight sometimes, especially if you put him on the right node and stuff. But he's not an amazing champ. He's just Jugs. Do you know what I mean? Next up, we'll talk about Mordo. Now, Mordo's caused me a headache in war this time round, but luckily we won, so clearly didn't have to. Wasn't that much of a headache. But Mordo's pretty cool. I mean, he's got the Astral Evade. He's got that power gain as well. He's pretty good. Morning Star causes the bleeds and stuff. She's really cool. Let's talk about Doctor Strange now. Doctor Strange was my first 4-star Mystic, and I was fucking buzzing when I got him because it was pre-nerf, and he was so useful, man. He was so good, and I took him as far up as I can, and the week I took him to rank 5, they nerfed him. There was nothing I could do, but they nerfed him and it sucked. It took me forever to get Scarlet Witch. By the time that I got her, Doctor Strange was long useless. If they ever brought out any more rank down tickets, he would definitely be going down, and my boy Dr. Voodoo would be going up. Now, Dr. Voodoo is really, really useful with the poison and the power control. Then you've got Gilly with her soul stacks and her role reversal and stuff, and then you got Magic with her limbo and shit. So this class is an amazing class, and not to mention the queen herself, the queen of the Mystics, is Scarlet Witch. She's still content destroyer for me. Her Veil of Fortune nullifies most things. She's so useful. She takes on the big boys and she fights them back like they're nothing. And not to mention, you've also got Ghost Rider's regen. So guys, we've gone through each class, and if you're still with me on this, I'm going to tell you what, in order of 6, what class I genuinely believe to be the best. Now, I think we'll start from bottom and work our way up. So number 6 for me has to be Mutant, simply because there's one or two good champs in here, but 90% of them, when you face them, they're just in the way. And I think great champs are great and they're useful and stuff, but in this kind of game at the minute, you've got so much to choose. There's so much better to choose from different classes. So for me, number 6 is Mutant. Number 5, guys, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Science. Now, big Science up, and I love Science champs, but since they've got Void and Gulk, and then you've got Hulk and Quake and Mcoc and stuff, it was tough to see whether or not they will be 5th or 4th. But I believe my 4th choice would have to be Tech. Now, Tech, simply because you managed to make 4th, simply because of Spidey and Star-Lord. They're just that useful. They've carried you to 4th place for me. And I genuinely don't think most things... I genuinely believe 4th place is being very generous to you guys. So 4th place it is, and I think that's pretty given. I think for 3rd place, I'm gonna have to pick. This is tough. I probably should have thought this out before, but I thought going through the classes would make it a bit easier for myself and stuff. But yeah, if I'm being realistic, I think 3rd place belongs to Cosmic. I mean, 2 god tiers just isn't enough for Cosmic. I mean, they have Thor and they've got Gamora, 2 very underrated champs. You've got Drax is pretty cool. Phoenix isn't too bad, but with Hyperion and Medusa just holding us up, that I think 3rd place, only because Hyperion and Medusa are content destroyers. They're absolutely obliterators. And as now for 2nd place in this whole entire game, I genuinely believe for 2nd place would have to be Skill. 2nd place has to be Skill. Alright, you've got Blade, you've got Gwenpool, you've got Hawkeye and Ragnarok and Kingpin and Black Widow and Crossbones and stuff like that. But most of these champs inflict bleed. Most of these champs inflict things that you can actively work around with Mystic. Now, most of these Mystic champs, with Mystic Dispersion added on, you're getting the power gain. You've got champs like Voodoo that could cause poison that not many champs can actually get away with. Limbo could cause a lot of people a lot of headaches, and you've got most of the war defenders in this class as well. Scarlet Witch will turn anything into absolutely anything that she can inflict. And then Doctor Voodoo with his power gain as well, Doctor Strange with his power gain as well isn't too bad. So it definitely has to be for me. My top choice is Mystic. So guys, just to recap, number 6 being Mutant, number 5 being I think I said Tech. No, I said Science, sorry. Number 5 being Science. Number 4 being Tech. Number 3 being Cosmic. Number 2 being Skill. And number 1 is the Mystic class. If you disagree or if you have any input into this video at all, please drop us a comment below. Like and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be pouring out some more uncollected content and working our way up towards that next crystal opening. But until then, if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you next week. Pritchie34 checking out. Peace.